Yeah, number one, no, we've not done anything with burner controls. We don't do a whole heck of a lot of that. We've worked on equipment with that, but we don't do a lot of that. Number two, to address your question about safety, my policy is if we're going to completely retrofit the equipment, and if we're even remotely touching the safety system, we are redoing the safety system, and we're redoing it to a modern standard that matches the risk assessment of that machine. And the customer will often come back, and this has happened, well, we only really need this on there. Okay, but they may not know better. Okay, it's just a simple fact. It's not that they're wrong, it's just that they may not know better. So from a liability standpoint, Envision is going to bring that safety system up to a standard that makes sense for the application, because we want to walk away from it knowing that nobody's going to be injured, and they are going to want to make sure nobody gets injured. Whether they want to pay for it or not is a whole other thing. So we go out of our way to bring really robust safety solutions without, breaking the bank, so to speak, for the customer. And if we've run into a few instances on quotes where customer says we don't want to pay for that safety addition, and we cannot come to a conclusion. We're just going to have to decline it, because we can't, in good conscience, do that job without bringing that safety standard up. And again, it's also from a liability standpoint too, right? We touch it, it's ours.
Yep.
It's a very important discussion topic. I know that me and Dave kind of discussed the idea of doing an entire segment on safety, but I think, talking with retrofits specifically, again, you had very different laws and regulations like 30, 40 years ago. So equipment is going to be very, very different today coming onto the manufacturing floor. And again, I'm certainly not a lawyer from that standpoint, but I could see how it's either you're liable once you put in the equipment, but also if the manufacturer alters your safety circuit once it's been deployed and kind of sign off on, becomes essentially liable, right? And I've seen instances too where they would receive a piece of machinery, and as you said, maybe for not knowing any better or not wanting to have these safety features that require, again, a full lockout, reset, and then putting the machine back to run, they would simply bypass some of those systems. So again, I think there's a lot of kind of gray areas like that, but it's good to have a company policy that once you deploy, it's going to be our standard. And if, obviously you can't stop them modifying once the door is kind of closed, but it's really up to them at that point. But no, I appreciate that, Preston.
Well, and I kind of want to touch on that just a little bit. Something you mentioned, the alteration of a safety system after it's put in by a company like ours. So everything that we've ever done, we've done electrical drawings on. Everything that we've ever done has been documented. And that documentation is available for the life of Envision, really. They can call us, they can get it through other means. I won't go into great details. Some of that's proprietary, but they can basically get the documentation as they need it on the fly. So basically there's no need for them to alter the machine or alter the safety circuit. But if they do, and we go back and we know that, we could at least compare and say, well, we know it was changed, but it wasn't changed by us because we designed it and installed it this way. And again, that just kind of helps keep Envision safe from any kind of liable. And, it really keeps the customer safe, because you never really know who's in your panel out on the floor in some of these larger plants who might be, an outside electrical contractor could change it, right? And you might get a call from the customer, hey, did you guys change this? No, we didn't. Well, it's different from the print. Well, we need to get it wired back to the print. So either we'll work with your internal maintenance group to make sure that happens, or we'll come in and do it ourselves.